Hello, my name's Fiona and Fiona Castle, and I work for Imela in Bristol, and I'm an advocate on the Bristol Children and Families Board alongside Don Wood from 16 to 25, and I understand there's also a vacancy, so there's room for three reps on the board. The board is a strategic high-level it's a high-level board which has been meeting. It's met twice before. It's still developing, and the terms of reference and membership are available if you would like them. It's very much a partnership, looking at planning, commissioning, and the delivery of early intervention and preventative services across the city for children, young people, and families, and aiming for the best possible outcomes, support for all children while safeguarding the most vulnerable, using an evidence-based approach, sharing knowledge and resources, and with the aim of avoiding duplication, improving integration, etc. And the board is currently devising a programme of work to achieve and create a framework that they'll work within, and it works very closely with other boards such as Health and Wellbeing and Bristol Safeguarding Children's Board. So we met on the 9th of January and 2015, and each board hears a more detailed presentation from a particular partner agency, and this time it was the police, represented by John Riley. Again, the presentation could be made available if you'd like to see it. It was very useful to understand more about how the police across Avon and Somerset are set up and how they interface with other forces, and to hear a bit more about specific projects that support children and young people, such as work around hidden exploitation, links with school pastoral teams, a project called Bright Outlook, which is for 10 to 14-year-olds, looking at early intervention where young people are looking as if they might get involved with the criminal justice system, and also linking police community support officers with secondary schools, which is something they aim to do. And also, of course, children and young people are impacted by the way in which the police work with adults. So in particular, we heard about the improved victim response system called Lighthouse that works across the area. And again, as I say, that information could be made more available if that would be useful. We then heard from Judith Brown, who is the Director for Child Community Health, and is particularly at the moment working on the Child Community Health Commissioning, which is an ongoing, very complicated process of recommissioning services for children with disabilities, health visiting, school nursing, child and adolescent mental health services, and speech therapy. There might be others included in it as well. It's very complicated because there are many partners involved in the commission. So there's an extended consultation to try and get the services right, and currently an outcome-based specification is being worked on, which is due out in, I think, about 3 months' time. The decisions around who will be awarded the services will be in October 2016, and in April 2017 the decisions will be made and the service will begin. On the 5th of March there's a joint event organised by VOSCA and Bristol CCG, looking at what should be included within that service specification. So if you can come along to that, please look on the VOSCA website and you'll find details of that. It would be really good to have people there. We then heard from Paul Jacobs, who is the Service Director for Education and Skills, and he was in particular talking about a £4 million budget that is being rolled out in Bristol around early intervention and schools, and the interface between those two services. And Schools Forum are working on that. It'll be a 3-area model, and as I say, looking at the interface between schools and early intervention. We then went on to hear from Gary Davis of Troubled Families, And he raised that troubled families have had to produce a family's outcome plan for use and assessment. It's been a condition of the Troubled Families programme that that is produced, and so that's what they've done, and that's been submitted to the DWP. And Gary was really posing whether that would be a useful document for a whole service response, and was the way in which Troubled Families Service responded to children and families. Have we learned useful things from that that would be useful for working with families in a broader sense? There were some questions about how it fits with care leavers plans and children in care plans and signs of safety, and those were discussed. And again, there is a document, and if that would be useful for you to see, then please make contact with VOSCA. And one of the issues that Gary was bringing to the table really was the way in which the reduction in funding for local authorities does mean that we've got to be very thoughtful and creative, inventive, innovative in the way that we manage to maintain services despite the reduction in funding. So yeah, so that's what he was talking about, and that was useful. We heard from Jean Pollard, the Services Director for Care and Support for Children and Families, and she talked about the new SEND framework for 0 to 25s, which is a multi-agency response and has been based on the requirements of the Children and Families Act 2014. And there was a launch event for that on the 9th of January. And then finally we heard from John Redman, who's the chair of the board and director for people, and he was talking about the post-Ofsted improvement plan for Bristol, who got satisfactory in the last inspection. And the plan is called Getting to Good and has 4 key areas. It's a multi-agency plan, and it will be everyone's responsibility to work on aspects of that plan. And there was discussion about that there were no cities that were currently good, and there was also a discussion about whether it was the challenge of affording good, and the way in which standards do to some extent depend on investment, but obviously people want to work towards that. The next meeting is on Thursday the 19th of March, and we will be doing some priority setting around the plan and about what the board will be spending their time on. If you'd like more information, please contact myself or Don Wood or Asma Ahmed at VOSCA, and all the details for that are on the VOSCA website under Voice and Influence. So thank you.